Hi, parents and players. I just wanted to send out this message today, kind of as our version of a parent meeting. I know everything's been a little weird this year, so we're just going to continue and add to it. But this is just going to be a few of the things, some of the expectations of the girls we have for this year. It's been a great start. Um, I've really had a lot of fun getting to know all of them and really work with them. Um, I know Coach Luckland has too. Um, just in case you don't know, my name's TJ Irons. I'm a third grade teacher at school, um, and I also coach basketball. But I'm going to be the varsity head coach, and then also we have Coach Kaylee Luckland, who has coached at the middle school level, and then she coached last year for the Raiders, and took over in kind of a tough situation and took them all the way to the district championship game. So feeling like things are going in the right direction. The girls are working hard, um, and it's been a great start. So I'm hoping to keep that up. I just wanted to go through a few things. Your daughter will be bringing home a paper for you to sign. It's going to have a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about now. I'm not going to read it word for word, but just go over a few things. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email me, or Coach Luckland for that matter. I think most of you have that on any of the other things that we've talked about. Um, but my email is tirons@southrange.org if you need to send anything to me for that. The girls should have all my contact information, and obviously we're seeing them almost every day too, so you could send something with them if you wanted to. Um, First thing I want to talk about, just a few things obviously that sometimes seem pretty simple, but things that they must have is we need to make sure the girls are complying with the drug testing policy. We got to make sure that they're doing the things that they need to do in school, and that means they have to be eligible in at least 5 classes, not including phys ed. So most of the girls, all the girls that pretty much that I know, kind of what their grades are, they're gonna be fine. I'm not really worried about it, but I feel like we need to say that. And then obviously most of you have done this. Is you need to make sure that you turn in all your paperwork, and that's the physical and all the other paperwork that you had to use even before we came in the gym this year. The only exception would be you're going to get a paper that says Raider Volleyball team rules, and this will be signed at the bottom. And if you could get that back to Coach Luckland or myself, that would be great too. Um, Things that are obviously prohibited on our team and at our schools, first of all, the substance abuse, and you could go into alcohol, tobacco, the vaping, anything, nicotine delivery systems, any kind of drugs, prescription drugs that aren't prescribed to the student. Um, Obviously, we've been lucky enough we don't have to worry about that either. Another thing is hazing. Hazing is not accepted at our school or in our program. There's Kids should not be asked to do anything as far as initiation goes. Um, our girls are very good at this, and they treat everybody with a lot of respect. Now, that doesn't mean that sometimes a freshman may have to carry a med kit, but that's nothing. It's not disrespectful towards them. It's nothing that's a slight to them. It's just kind of part of the deal when you're a freshman. You do a few of these things, and then you work your way up. As you work your way up in the program, you don't have to do some of those. And it's been a great year for that. All of our girls, you could walk in the gym. I don't think you could pick out a freshman from a senior if you just walked in the gym off the streets and didn't know the girls. They all treat each other very good. Obviously, another thing prohibited is violating the law. And then I put on here just all other actions unbecoming of a Raider volleyball player. We have good girls. We have good families. Everybody understands what that means. So that's on there. The next part of this is communication guidelines. Um, you know, I coach with somebody, and one of his favorite sayings is, when there's a lack of communication, your imagination often fills in the gaps. So I want to make sure we don't have any of that imagination filling in the gaps. So communicating is something we talk about every day on the floor, how important it is to communicate early and often. And I feel like it's the same way off the floor. It's very important if a player needs to miss practice for some reason, or they're going to be late, or anything that comes up, please let us know early, just so we can plan for it. We know it's coming and we're not surprised. Um, the other thing is, if a player has a question about their role on the team or playing time or something like that, we encourage them to come talk to us first. just the player. And it's part of maturing. It's part of, becoming a mature young adult, of being able to do that. I think that we're both approachable as coaches, and we hope that the girls feel like they can come talk to us about stuff like that. Now, if a parent wants to sit in because they'll be more comfortable sitting in that meeting, that's okay. Or if a parent wants to set up a meeting, that's always okay. And I'm not a coach that says playing time is off limits. I'll talk to you about anything. The only issue is sometimes I won't talk to you about other girls on the team. And the other thing is, make sure you just come up and we'll schedule a meeting at an appropriate time. If it's an emergency, come talk to us whenever you need to talk to us. If it's not an emergency and you feel like you just need to get some off your chest, or you have a question for us, please don't approach us right before or after practice, or right before or after a game. Sometimes emotion can get the best of us, and I would hate to have that happen. So just set up a meeting, and we're willing to meet with you anytime. The last thing about communication is just make sure that we kind of follow the chain of command, if you're thinking of kind of the armed forces way. But don't jump up and go and ask questions to the principal about the volleyball team, because he might not know. He's got a lot of other things on his mind. So if you could start with the coaches, and if you don't get the answer that you need, or if you feel like you need more information, we can definitely set up a meeting with Mr. Farron, our athletic director. If we still feel like we're not getting there, then we can work our way up to the administration and do those types of things. But when you start jumping chain of command, sometimes, once again, imagination can fill in the gaps, and maybe I don't even know that you're upset, and all of a sudden Mr. Rowan comes to me and says, hey, what about this person's parent saying this? And I wouldn't even know. So please just talk to us, communicate. I feel like we're pretty approachable. The next thing I wanted to address is our absence policy. Obviously, we want girls at everything mandatory. We need them to be there, and that's pretty much everything between now and the end of the season. The summertime stuff is not mandatory up until August 1st, but now it is, and we'd like them to be there. There's some exceptions to that as far as excused absences would be an illness, doctor's appointment. Obviously a death in the family, and we added college visits in there too, because we want to make sure that these juniors and seniors that are taking these visits aren't penalized for that, because that's a big part of what we do here. The consequences for unexcused absences, which is anything else, is typically we have the girls make up any conditioning that they missed. They'll just stay after, and if we ran that day, they'll run. If we jumped, if we did core, whatever, they'll make that up. And if you're late, or if you miss a practice unexcused, typically you'll sit at least one set in the next match. And obviously, there's coach's discretion always comes into play there. If you miss a game and it's unexcused, a full match, then you'll miss the next full match, just as your consequence for that. But you're expected to be there, and you're expected to sit on the bench, but you just will not be playing in that game. Next up on our list is social media. It's part of all of our everyday lives now, and it's not something that I think we need to say that we're not going to use at all, because we use it in positive ways. I just set up a volleyball Twitter account that I hope to share some good things about our volleyball team as we go. The key is to just make sure you use your head. And I'll talk more to the girls in person about this, but using your head, keep it positive and keep it appropriate. And even if it's something that you didn't say or do, if it's a retweet, a repost, if it's something that you like, any of those things, when you do that on social media, if it's something inappropriate, that's going to be there forever. And there might be small consequences now, but down the line, more and more people are looking, when you go for a job interview, very often they're going to go back into your social media and check you out. So just be smart. We have a lot of good girls here, so shouldn't have to worry about that again. But just so we know, that's our social media. Just keep it appropriate. Keep it positive. As far as I wanted to mention just about riding the bus too. We like the kids to be on the bus with us on the way to games and on the way home from games. So please make sure that's the case. And I also know every once in a while there's a family emergency. Communicate and let us know if something does come up where you're her daughter can't be on the bus for some reason, but we really like them to be on there. We've done a nice job on our scrimmages so far. All the buses we've been on, they've been able to completely socially distance. They're all in their own seat. They're sitting down. We wear our masks on the bus, so that will continue, and we'll make sure it's safe. So that's one thing, and our schedule is going to be busy. If you looked at our schedule, I'll send a game schedule and a calendar for September and October home as well. But we're going to be busy. There's lots of 3-game weeks, 4-game weeks, so we're going to be on the bus a lot. The girls need to make sure they're staying on top of their studies. You know, that's number one, is making sure that that's the case. So the other reason we're going to be busy is Mr. Farron has scheduled us some freshman games, which is great. And to be totally honest, we're not totally looking at them as freshman games necessarily. We're looking at them as more opportunities for girls to get game time in a game, and that's what we're saying. So there are going to be a lot of freshmen playing those games, but there may be older girls playing as well, if their skill level dictates that, and it's going to be more playing time, which is great for anybody. So I think everybody's going to be good with that, but that also means those usually start at about 4:30. So our buses will leave soon after school on those nights, and we'll be going, we go to away games, or else we'll have it at our place. So we need to make sure we're eating correctly, and we're providing, something for the kids to eat on those long nights. Next is our fundraiser. We've got off to a good start on that. There's really some pretty cool stuff in there. A lot of people jumped out and did that. We're asking each girl to sell 10 items. And the money that we raise is going to help pay for our warm-ups that we just bought. And we're looking to get another, for the varsity girls, we're looking to get varsity and JV. We're looking to get another, maybe possibly a hoodie or something, but we need to raise a little money first. So that's what we're doing with this. Hopefully you got a chance to look at it. It's pretty much hands-off, and you're comfortable with what we're doing there. It seems pretty easy. I'm hoping all keeps going well like it has been. Next thing would be possibly things we need parent volunteers for. If you've been around the volleyball program, you probably noticed that we typically have parents that take tickets at the gate coming in, and also doing a concession stand. Mrs. George has been great at organizing that the past 4 years, but her daughter just graduated, so we're kind of hoping that maybe another parent will be willing to take that on. I'm going to make a Google Doc that I'll send out just to try to get volunteers to sign up for some of these early games. We're going to try to do it this Saturday for our first game. I know the issue this week is going to be where we're going to put the concession stand. Probably in the high school gym where we usually do. But the JV will be playing in the middle school gym. Varsity will be in the high school gym. So we may need to work out which parents are going to be at what time. But if you'd be willing to volunteer a couple times. Typically what we also do too is during the JV games, the JV parents will usually watch the game, and then the varsity parents will man the concession and the admissions. But during the varsity game, they just swap, and the JV parents will usually take care of it then. It's just something that's also a little bit extra money for our team. It's nice to have with those concessions. Coach Kaylee was nice enough. She's going to go and try to stock some of the concession stuff for this weekend. And the other exception is it all has to be pre-packaged things that are going to be in the concessions, because another one of the things because of COVID-19. So we need to be smart with that. So be looking for that Google Doc. You'll be getting lots of things on Remind, which hopefully you've seen Remind. If you're getting this message, you definitely have seen Remind. If you're not, and I don't get a paperback from you, we got to make sure we get you signed up for Remind. It's just a way that I can keep in touch with you and the girls and give little updates here and there, because there are changes to be made. And as a matter of fact, this Friday, I talked to the girls today. We had to change because I forgot it's my first day of school. I have meetings all day, so we can't practice in the morning. So we'll be 3 to 4:30 this Friday, the day before our game. Last thing here is just some of the things we've been doing as far as COVID-19 safety things. I know the kids, you guys have been doing health checks at home, which is very important. And as they come in the gym, we constantly are asking them if they have a fever, and if they've shown any symptoms. And they've really done a pretty nice job of socially distancing for the most part. It's impossible to do it every single second when you're in the gym playing a team sport. But we've told them that if we want to have a season, it's important that we do it as much as we can. But they've been good about wearing masks and all those things, everything we've asked. Um, After every practice, and sometimes if we have breaks, we sanitize the volleyballs, just making sure that we're trying to wash those as much as we can. And as I said earlier, we're on the bus. We're following the protocols that have been asked of us. We aren't able to go in the locker room yet. They're still just using the bathroom in the cafeteria. Um, my guess is some of this may change in some way once we get into the season here, but you know, I just kind of told the girls, I said, just enjoy every day that we have together and keep working like, like we're gonna play, and we have so far. We've had some great scrimmages. We have another scrimmage coming up with Wellsville tomorrow. We open up on Saturday, and I'm just really looking forward to a great year. It's been a blast being back in the gym with these girls, and hopefully I can't wait to see some fans in the stands. That's been a little weird, um, and just the excitement of kind of getting back to somewhat of a normal. I know it's not totally normal, but somewhat of a normal kind of a school setting where we get on a schedule, we start having games, we start doing things a little bit more normal. So I know that was fast. I tried to go quickly, so this wasn't a super long video, but I didn't do a great job. And I'm sure I missed a few things. So if you have any questions, absolutely email me. Whatever you can through Remind app, you can send me a text message if that's easier. Have your daughter ask the question, and then she can maybe bring your answer home to you. But as I said, in the grand scheme of things, the best thing that we can do is just communicate. And if we communicate, I think we're going to have a great season. So I just want to say, looking forward to seeing everybody. Looking forward to starting the season on Saturday, and hope you have a great day. We'll see you.